If a client came to me and said, Ari, I have no concerns I'm going to run out of money, no concerns about the political environment, no concerns about inflation, I would feel really weird. I am actually feeling better when a client comes and says, hey, can we do some stress testing and understand where am I in relation to my goals and how much can I spend and how long do I need to keep working and where should I be saving? That makes me feel more comfortable because retirement is not this magical, yes, you click the green button and you can retire and it says you'll never run out. There's degrees of confidence. There are things that could occur that are outside of all of our control, and that will always be there to some extent. And I see people not retire because of that feeling, and I see people retire too early because they go, oh, I think it's going to work out, and then it does, but not to the degree that they wish it would have, and now they're not spending what they wanted to, and now they're going back to work, or they're spending way less than they wish they would have. So I don't want any of that to be you. I want you to retire with total confidence. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want you to know it is normal that you have concerns. If you didn't, that would be weird. And at the same time, I'm not going to be the nice guy that says, yep, you can go retire. I will joke, I am the meanest financial advisor, not actually, but it's because I want to make sure that you are retiring with total confidence and not going, why didn't I work another year? So I could have actually spent what I wanted to the rest of my life. Why didn't I actually stop working? Because I have plenty of money. So what am I doing here? I just am scared one day I'll run out. So I'm just going to keep pushing it back. 1 more year, 2 more years, $2 million, $3 million. I'm going to show you a real example. It's not going to be you because of course I don't know you exactly, but I think it's going to be close to the thoughts you're having and I want to show it to you. So if you're looking to retire with confidence, for strategies to help regarding investing and tax planning and withdrawal and healthcare, which I know is the big one for a lot of you, how do you do all this? This is why I made this channel. Please do like this video if you find it's helpful. And of course, please do comment for this type of content and tell me, because it's fun for me to hear, how are you feeling about retirement? What are you thinking? Not just for me, but for others. And I'm going to show you an example why. So here's a comment left by Dave C. 1500 11 days ago. He said, I retired originally at 57 years old. You won't need as much money in retirement as you think you do. Full-time employment, way overrated. A part-time job after retirement can be a game changer. More financial options, more social interaction. Your time off becomes extra special, in my opinion. Now that's just Dave C. 1500. Some of you go, well, I like my current coworkers and it's not that stressful. Some of you go, ooh, this is helpful to hear from someone else who's actually done it. Here's another comment. True, I've seen it firsthand even though I'm only 40. My grandfather is 93 and still working a very minimal amount. Granted, he has his own architecture business, but he loves the relationships, maintaining his mental state and finding value in his downtime. No need to plan on sitting around. Nobody does. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be you, but I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, and not just me, but everyone, what are you thinking about retirement? What does your dream retirement look like? If we get to hear it from you, it helps more people than you can imagine really get insight, and I encourage you, go back and forth with them and learn from them. That's why I want you guys to do that. Now, today's video is going to be specific with a case study so you can see how this might relate to what you're thinking right now. Now, real quick, for those of you that are worried about how are you going to create purpose and fulfillment in retirement, this is a workbook that in a video series that my clients are going through when working with us to make sure that everything is getting optimized within here. So it's a long, lengthy process, but it's important, it's valuable. There's an optimal way of thinking through purpose. And so if you're looking for that, you can always see that in my academy. In my academy here, you can see this is for those that want to optimize their early retirement. You can go through for a few $100. You don't get one-on-one guidance of me, meaning you do get me as a coach walking you through with specific videos. You can see what people say about the process, and it's great. No more guesswork on Roth conversions, and the software tells you when to do it. And I'm personally responding, and so I'm always here to help. So that's what this is all about. Now, I want you to be able to stress test and determine and see, okay, how much taxes do I need to pay? But the purpose of this is there's a lot of worksheets and checklists and things I use with clients, and I want you to have access to this. So if you're interested in getting access to these documents and the software I'm about to show you, then I encourage you to check it out. So here it is. These are real people. I just changed the name. This is the same software. If you want to play around with this after, you can. You can see their assets here, $2.6 million, $450,000 home, no mortgage, You can see here their family right here. You can see a couple of kids. I just changed the names for security purposes, but these are sample client, real people, just change the names. And you can see their assets, how much they've saved. You can see they've saved and invested well. So I'm using an example of a client who has saved and invested well, and here they are. And they're like, I don't know how long I want to keep working. We're 53 and 50 years old. We've got a couple of kids. They're going to go to college. I know we've got a few $1,000,000 right now, but I get it. The graphs show that I'm on track for 25 million. And that's where I stop them. And I go, you're not on track for 25 million. They go, what do you mean? I go, what if you toggle on 25 million? What's that going to be worth in today's dollars? They go, I don't know. I go, well, I'll tell you. 25 million will be the equivalent of $10 million at 93. And they're like, that's still a lot of money. I go, it is. But what if you didn't work till 67? What if you worked until 60? What if you and your partner worked until 60? What would that mean? And all of these trade-offs you can play around with in my academy. And so look what it shows them. Well, it doesn't really make a big deal. Why? Because they're saving and investing so much. It's compounding. Yeah, there's 700,000 fewer dollars, but they're still okay. And so even then, I showed this to a client and they're like, look, we're really not that confident. Like, I get that you're excited. And some of you are going to watch this right now going, how could they not be excited? Look what they're on track for. I go, it goes deeper than that, because right now they think they want to spend about $7,000 a month with a little bit extra on a wedding for a child and vacation. But what if they're totally off and they're like, you know what? We want to spend $12,000, $7,000 a month. It's just not going to cut it. Well, what would that mean? Well, now all of a sudden, they're on track for 7.7 million fewer dollars because they're spending way more, $12,000 a month. Now, they're still on track for $2.3 million, but at the end, they wanted to buy a home in Aspen, and they were debating, do we move into an Aspen home, and how much should we be giving? And this planned for vacations of $10,000. What if it turns out like we're all about the vacations, and we want to give $40,000, or we want to spend $40,000? Well, now they're running out of money at about 90. So the point here, I'm not showing this to scare you. You're like, hey, you're kind of doing the opposite right now, where I was hoping you were going to give me confidence, not take away confidence. This to me should actually give you confidence, because this is me running really in-depth projections to give them confidence. Now, I know them, and they are going to work until probably mid-60s, because I can just tell they like what they do. But I know them, and they would love to spend $8,000 a month. $7,000 a month they're going to be happy with, but if they had $8,000 a month, an extra probably $15,000 to $20,000 a year for travel, I just keep putting a negative in there, that then what they're going to see right here is this is what they're on track for. So here we are, we're on track for $7.2 million instead of $9.1 million. But the problem with this, and the reason I don't think anyone really has confidence, is what if markets don't do well? This assumes their investments keep doing well. What if it's more of a balanced approach? What if it turns out markets just do okay? Oh, well, that makes a big impact. Well, before we were assuming they were getting a lot of growth, but what if it doesn't? Or what if you said, ooh, I want more of a conservative approach. I want to have mainly bonds. I'm not really into equities and the fluctuation. Well, look at that. They're okay, but now at 93, there's not left. So the point here is these little tweaks can make big differences. Now, what if they said, we're really into investing, we want to be really aggressive, and that's what we're all about? Well, they could actually have more money. So these are the types of conversations. You can see there's a lot here. LTC is long-term care. What if they live longer than they think? They wanted to give $800,000 as a legacy at the end. How much should they be saving for college? What about Social Security? So the point here is there's a lot to this, and it can become overwhelming. Unless you had a really confident level of, okay, are we on track? Are we not? I like when my clients are personally in the range of 80 to 90% as a proposed plan. North of 90% is traditionally they're on track to die with too much money. And less than 80% is we might have to be doing some significant costs along the way, along the way. So the point here is too many people look at this incorrectly and go, 80%? Does that mean like I have a 20% chance I'm going to run out of money? That's not what that means. It means there's a 20% chance that we're going to have to tweak something if you want to pass away with $5.5 million. So most people look at it incorrectly. This is going deeper into Monte Carlo and stress testing, and this is where I'll even start. Then I want to talk about the confidence of our plan, and what if we get certain projections. And then I want to discuss how much saving should we be doing, because we're doing healthy saving to education, but what about our income? And what about the withdrawal rates? And a lot of you hear me talk about withdrawal rates and how is that going to change over time? And wait a second, Should we be doing tax planning? Should we not be doing tax planning? How much value does this add? If we're going to try to get millions of more dollars, conversions, what brackets do we fill up? All of these things make different impacts here, and sometimes it can make a big impact. I mean, millions of more dollars. Other times it makes less of an impact. Sometimes it's even more. You're like, what has happened here? Sometimes I'll tell a client, I want you to intentionally not do conversions because it makes a difference, but is it worth it? Sometimes it is. And this is where I sometimes say, when I joke, I want you to do nothing. Sometimes conversions, what you just saw me in approximately 15 seconds, show you $2 million more, $1 million less, $4 million less, $5 million more. I want you to be able to understand how all of these things connect so that you can optimize every aspect of this. And this is, to me, how real planning gets accomplished. So whether it's disability or long-term care or what, all of these different projections, this is, in my opinion, what's going to give anyone confidence. So it's about financially making sure you feel that you've run projections and gone, yep, what if, for example, what if there's a really bad decade followed by slow growth? What would that mean for the plan? Well, sometimes it looks overly conservative. It's like, oh my God. Sometimes, what if you just get strong growth? Well, now they're on track for $12 million. So too many people come and they play around with this to the degree where they go, oh yeah, I'm never going to retire early because what if this happens? That's not what retirement's about. Retirement is about degrees of success, degrees of confidence, so that when you do retire, you go, yes, I have a clear plan for where income is going to be created. I understand how much income could be created if I'm doing good planning. And so if you're now wondering, okay, how much income can I create? I encourage you to watch this video where I talk about creating lifetime income. And you can see these are the strategies that I would do. This is a real portfolio, how I would approach it with a client. So that is it for today's video. If you're looking for one-on-one guidance for holistic planning, that is of course what we do. If you're looking for guidance, but you don't feel you need an advisor or you don't quite have $2 million yet, which is the current minimum to work with us, I encourage you to check out that Early Retirement Academy to see if it makes sense for you to start playing around with your own projections.